Today, we're going to be talking about one of our favorite topics on this podcast, love. Valentine's Day just passed.
Yeah.
What were some of your observations on people and love and how they were interacting with it?
I think it's like the same thing every year. There's some people that are, yearning for some love and didn't get it. The people that are in love, and then the people that are just like kind of like neutral and like focus on themselves. And yeah, so it's really pretty much same wheel turning every single time. Valentine's Day comes around.
That is, yeah, that's true. I don't know. I feel like, yeah, everybody interacts with it different. As a single, I feel like how you interact with Valentine's Day as a person who's single depends on your prior experience. So I was in, as I've been very transparent on this podcast, a toxic relationship or two in
Yeah,
my day. So when Valentine's Day came around when I was single, it was just like, okay. Like last year, I went and took my granny some flowers and so, I was just focused on love and other contexts because I was not trying to be bogged down
yeah.
with the romance of it all. But what did you do this V Day?
Um, I think I just did like homework. I didn't do anything, and it was on a Monday too, so I think that really contributed to it as well. But
Yeah,
I didn't
yeah,
do anything extravagant.
that's a good point. Yeah, Monday. Who wants to be doing anything? Anyways, um, but let's get into the episode talking about healthy love versus unhealthy love, what that looks like to us, what we see it look like to other people, like perception wise. So, and I think we talked about this when we did the love episode the first time. So, how would you, in this day, after all the time has passed, define healthy love?
Healthy love. I definitely know that healthy love doesn't involve trauma or struggle, like how people like to present it. And I think a lot of us have experience, especially in a family. Like you have people that been together for a long time, but in that long time, a lot of shit has happened, and you're just like, how in the hell are you
Right.
still together? But I get it. I mean, I get it. Like relationships are hard, but like it's just some things that like some things you just gotta have to like let go of after someone does something to you. I
Yeah.
don't know. So I've been around a lot of unhealthy love. Oh my god. So I'm more privy to unhealthy love than healthy love, which is not the
Yeah.
greatest, but it is what it is. But
I mean, honestly, though, you learn from other people's experience. I was
mhm,
talking to one of my friends literally yesterday about when you're growing up and they're talking about love and what's healthy, it's oftentimes portrayed as a healthy love is one where the other person is faithful, and an
mhm,
unhealthy love is one where the other person is unfaithful. But growing up, you realize there's so much more that can be wrong with the love between two people than whether they're faithful or not.
mhm.
So then I feel like sometimes people stay in relationships because, like, I mean, they're faithful to me and we get along, but there's so many other things that are wrong.
Right.
So, to my question of what a healthy love is, I think, yeah, somebody who's faithful and about you, but also someone who respects you
Yeah.
and someone who treats you how you want to be treated and someone who low key lives at a standard that you want to live at and, upholds similar values. So, it's not just about.
Yeah, I think, but you know what? I think that also goes back to how most of our parents were raised. I feel like a lot of like the emotional aspect of like just like whether it's familiar relationships, like relationships, people don't really get into that. Like having like a emotionally intelligent relationship. A lot
Yeah,
of people don't get it. I don't know why people shy away from that conversation, but it's more
yeah,
just like get together, get married, have kids, woo, and then you like, pretty much are like successful in most people's eyes. But no
right.
one's talking about that. You need someone that is not gonna yell at you every time they get mad. Someone that can actually have a conversation. Someone that's not afraid to have hard conversations. And I feel like in a relationship, if you can't have hard conversations, then I don't know if it's that great of a relationship or that strong.
Exactly. I think I think society sort of romanticizes arguing. Like,
Yeah,
oh, we are always bickering, like we never get along. Nobody's saying like you shouldn't be doing that. Like that's you probably shouldn't have to bicker, but that's kind of how people portray married life. Like, you know how it is. Like,
right. That's
why
just
don't we? Yeah, that's awful. Why don't we reframe how society sees married life?
Who wants to be stressed all the time, arguing and shit? Goodbye.
Right. So we have of course in preparation for the episodes we go and do some research. So I'm going to go through some of the things that I guess professionals perceive as aspects of healthy relationships. So respect, as we've discussed, trust and support, honesty. Now honesty,
That one right there.
that one right there. I feel like honesty is very important.
Yes, I do as well. But I think a lot of people tiptoe on the line of honesty and omitting some facts. I feel like if you gotta like pull back on some facts, you're not that honest. You're not really telling the truth. Because if
Yes.
you're telling the whole truth, you would include that.
Yes.
Not something
Yes.
going on right there.
I feel like my standard for honesty is, would you want somebody to tell you that?
Yeah.
And I'm pretty curious a person. So generally I want to know. So if you're keeping out something that you know that I would want to know, or you would want to know if you were in my shoes, then you're not being fully honest.
Or something that you know is gonna hurt the person.
Exactly.
You just gotta rip the band. I feel like it's better to just rip the band-aid off instead of like wording things in a way that makes the other person is what the other person wants to hear or would make the
Agreed.
situation calmer, and then somewhere down the line is the person finds out the truth or the rest of the truth, and then there's a whole another situation. I just think it's better just like
I agree
the
100%.
band-aid off.
People withhold. I think omissions constitute dishonesty in a lot of contexts. But
Exactly.
okay, next on the healthy relationship wheel is responsible parenting. This doesn't apply.
A lot of people will be hurt with this topic.
Yeah.
Will be hurt with this topic.
It's have you been seeing on social media they've been talking about, like, what was it they were calling it, like soft parenting or something like that?
Yeah, yeah, because you don't beat your kids.
Yeah, they're like, so what you're telling me is you're calling somebody's parenting, like more soft or something because they're talking to their kids instead of being
Trying
physical
to
with their kids.
understand them.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
It's hard because how can you know for real? Like, say you love somebody, you rock with them hella
Hmm.
hard. Y'all go, you whatever, y'all are doing good. Then y'all introduce a child into the mix. How can you know for certain that that individual is gonna be a good parent?
You
Like
can
you could try.
you can't. It's a
You could
lottery. It's just a lottery. Like the best, the luckiest people win.
you
It's
you
really
could
that's what
best.
it comes down to. That's really what you can. They can be the most loving person. Listen to you. Understand you. As soon as a baby come, it does change the dynamic because now you all
Mhm.
it's three of y'all in
Yes.
this relationship. Y'all are a family. You got to figure out. I feel like you can sometimes you can have like everything aligns our morals and values, but then when y'all have a kid, y'all start wait. But I thought you were but wait, no. So that's when like a lot of issues come up, but you never can know. It's really just luck of the draw at the end of the
It's it's true. I think it's also important, like, there is no way to know for certain, but I think that there are certain characteristics that you can know that you feel like equate to being a good parent, and
Yeah,
you can consider whether your partner has those. Like,
yeah,
kids need to be talked to. I can't say that I would never whip my kids because you never know what kind of kid you're gonna get. But ideally, I would like to just speak to my child. So
yeah.
if my
Agree.
partner doesn't know how to speak and they only know how to scream, it's gonna be only heightened if a child is in the mix.
Right.
If your partner is not responsible for themselves as a human, like if you have to be on them for their basic needs, when a child gets brought into the mix, now you're looking for them, the kid, you. Don't let y'all have a dog. Like now all of a sudden,
Yeah.
that's a lot.
It's a lot. But I think parents when it comes to parenting and like, trying to, win the lottery and stuff, I think a lot of the time people just end up kind of reverting back to what their parents I did with them. I don't know if
Yeah.
it's just kind of like well, I don't know how to figure this out, so I'm just gonna do it how my parents did it or whatever the
Right.
case may be. But a lot of people tend to go back because you really don't know what you're getting into when you're having a baby. You can read all
Yeah.
the books, you can have all the nieces and nephews, cousins, whatever, got kids. when you have your own kid, it's a whole nother situation. So a lot of people
Yes.
tend to just kind of revert to what they know. So you have to like, as a parent, you have to be very conscious and intentional about the way you parent. If you don't have those two, I don't. Obviously, you can still have a relationship with your kid, but is your kid gonna want to rock with you when they grow up based
And
on
that's
how they were raised? Like,
exactly
they're gonna want to rock with you.
right. If did you do basic survival or was it nurturing and was it caring? And I feel like in an ideal world, and I feel like sometimes we see this in our generation and sometimes not. In an ideal world, by the time you have a child, you will have reflected on your own childhood, what made you feel good, what you didn't really like, so that when you become a parent, you can kind of adjust accordingly. If you have a child
That's
when you are a child, you wouldn't have had time to reflect.
right, because you growing up while your baby growing up, so it's like, who's the adult in this situation?
Yeah.
There's no adult.
Literally. And that doesn't even have to be in years wise. Like some people, you could be 27 and still be emotionally immature. And then you bring a child into the world and you got trauma that you never worked through.
Yeah,
So,
I
yeah,
think I think people just need to be really realistic about why they want to have a child. Like,
right.
why do you want to have a baby?
Ooh,
Are you ready to like help someone walk through this world? Like, what if your child comes out disabled? Are you ready to undertake that?
exactly. Exactly. A lot of people, and I was talking to my aunties about this on one holiday. I was like, so why did y'all choose to have children? And they're like, to have like a reflection of you in the world. I'm like, so for selfish reasons. And they're like, I mean, but it for selfish reasons, Like I think, and I've said this many times before, I think that choosing to be a parent is a little bit inherently selfish
Uh huh.
because you're bringing a person into the world either because you want a reflection of you or you feel like you're good enough to mold a decent human,
Yeah,
which is fine. But if the kid doesn't come out exactly how you want,
exactly.
how are you going to interact with that child?
Yeah, you have to be very, very mature. But 99% of us did not grow up with mature parents.
I mean,
Sorry.
right? And my mom's gonna be like, "So you're saying I'm not mature?"
Not
I
baby,
think that
not her.
every everybody has growing to do, and I think your kid is better off if you know your spots of, you know, hazy needs some work as opposed to you being in denial about them.
Exactly. And as a woman, you just got to be ready to be doing your own thing, low key. High key.
Oh, we've talked about that a bunch of times on this podcast too. Just you could be happily married,
Yep.
deep in love, and stuff go left. You
But
never know. And you know what?
that's for sure.
Yes, and can I just also say,
But
so I have this I don't want to go into nobody's deep business, but there was something I came across recently where it's the father who needs to be prepared for the mother to jap out and be out and doing what she wants to do. So,
happens. That happens too.
and I haven't encountered it as frequently.
Right. It's very rare, I think.
It
It's
is rare,
very
but that's another thing. Like
rare.
if you're a dude and you having a child, don't go into it thinking, okay, well, I'm just gonna be another one of her kids. Because what if something happens to her, you know?
Right. Then you
So
stuck. Oh, you're not stuck. They're your kids, but like,
then you're gonna have to step up and be parent number one. And are you ready to do that?
yeah. Did you ever see that Reddit post of that guy who he was with this girl and they end up getting pregnant and she was like adamant. She's like, I don't want to have a baby at all. Like, and he was like, well, like my baby don't get an abortion. She was like, okay, cool. I'm gonna have the baby, but I don't want no parts. So she has the baby, gave him the baby, and she pays 135% of her child support every month. And now he's mad because he's like, well, how can I force her to be a parent? Because now I'm having a hard time raising this kid by myself. And like, how can I force her to be a parent? And they're like, you can't. She's doing what
Right.
she's got to do. She told you, I don't want a baby. And you was like, you wanted a baby, so you got a baby.
Now that is, I mean, look, rare, but it happens.
Yeah.
I don't know. Do you watch the new Sex in the City?
No, I haven't watched it.
Okay, there's a couple on there, and the woman is having trouble having a child, and she's like, perhaps this is a sign from the universe, like a kid isn't in the cards for us. And her husband is like, no, I really want a child. Like, we need to consider whether we need to continue being together, knowing that you don't want a child and I do. But she was having trouble. So I don't know. all of that to say, you just never know.
Yeah, but then there's some people like Jenny Mai, when she told her husband she didn't want no baby, then she
Ye-
had a baby.
Yeah, now that, but Jeannie is an interesting situation, but yeah, I would be salty.
Yeah, maybe she just wanted to bring ablation into the world.
I just say that that's what
Maybe
that's why I
that's
said she's an interesting. She might be leaning into the, I don't know, hype beast of it all, but hopefully she is so deep in love that
I hope so too, for the sake of the baby at the very least.
eh, okay, let's keep going on the relationship wheel. So shared responsibility. This is funny because this ties directly into what we were just saying.
And
Is
especially with marriages, child. It's
yeah.
just it's too many wives out here with husband sons. It's way too many.
Yes, they kids and their husband be siblings, bro. Like,
Yeah.
did mom cook? Did mom like? Okay, please. And
Well,
I have a friend who's pregnant, and
hmm
she's excited to be pregnant, but she set her boundaries before the child has even come into the world. Like, I'm not about to be a mom only. Like,
yeah.
I'm gonna continue living my life. I'm gonna go to dinner with my friends. I'm gonna go do like so. And
Yeah,
before the pregnancy even happened, those kinds of conversations happen. Like, if this is not what you like, if you want me to only be a mom, I think people should start having these conversations more often. That's not what I can offer you.
I think so too. Because I think the whole situation is unfair. If anybody needs to be out for at least a year after the baby's born, it's the mom. She done been in the house carrying this human being for 9 months, maybe
Yes.
10 months, feet swollen. You
E-
could potentially die. I'm about to be out every day. I don't.
Right. What are you saying?
I almost
I'm
died. What you
literally,
mean?
I'm
I'm.
here
Oh
for the modern woman
yes,
mother and what that looks like, because motherhood has been painted in a very weak light. So I'm excited to see the girls shake it up a little bit, you know?
absolutely. Especially when people get like, for example, on Real Housewives, Kenya Moore, when she had her baby, um, they asked her like, "What was the best day of your life?" And she was like, "When I won Miss America." And they were like, "Not when you had your baby." She was like, "No, I almost died. Why would that be the best day of my
That's funny. But again, people want women to think like, oh my gosh, my best attribute is motherhood. The
life?"
best thing I ever did
Exactly.
in this world was have kids. She's like, no, I was a human before.
Right. It's like when you become a mom, people are just like, it's something that switch in people's mind that just like, that's just it. That's, you gotta be mom first. You gotta love your kids. Some people don't even love their kids when they first have them. And that's okay. That's a whole stranger. I don't care if it
That
came from inside you. You don't know what this person be talking about. You won't know for at least 2 years. You don't know what the hell they be talking about. You don't know where they mind at. Of course, I'm not gonna love you right when I see you. Some people do. Some people do,
yeah,
but some people don't, and that's okay. It's okay to have mixed reaction when you have a baby. It's weird seeing something come out of you that's a human being that's breathing, has heart, organs, and shit. That's
it's
weird.
true. People should normalize that more often, having mixed, and I'm not saying like, okay, go throw your baby away. No, like people should normalize
Yeah,
getting acclimated to the fact that there's a whole nother human. Like, to some
yeah,
people, a baby literally represents their freedom being taken away from them. When you used to be able to just,
yeah.
okay, I want to run at Target, let me put my shoes on. Now all of a sudden it's, okay, let me get them dressed.
Right. Let me get the diapers. Let me get the diaper bag. Let me get the little snacks.
Yeah, okay,
Work.
okay. Everybody's gonna be like, so y'all are never gonna be parents.
I promise. I would probably drink a cocktail every time I got to take my baby out. Yes.
Like, okay, bottoms up, everybody, before
This
we
is this is why I am working really hard in my life to be established so I can have things in place that can help me whenever I do have a kid. For example, a nanny
can
or
I
maybe
just
a chef and a maid.
Bro, can I just tell you, this is the same friend who's pregnant. She
hmm
was teaching me, she was basically saying like there's a lot of things that our community isn't familiar with that
Yeah.
could assist in like being a parent and make it a little bit less difficult. She said, for example, there are things called overnight nannies.
Yes.
So people be like, "Oh, I didn't sleep for 2 months." She's like, "I'm going to sleep." So
She said one thing about me.
right. No, so somebody's going to come in perhaps and watch the baby while I'm asleep, but regardless, I'm going to sleep. So I think that again speaks to the importance of being financially in a place where you can afford to be the kind of parent that you want to be.
Yeah. one girl actually posted that on her TikTok, and the reactions were like, I was surprised. A lot of women were actually like telling her like she's not a real mother and this, that, and the third. I'm like, babe, you do not have to struggle in a lot of things in this life, and being a mom is one of those things. If you
Yeah.
can, and if you have like the money to have someone come in, baby, you haven't had sleep for 9 months.
Right. Come
It's
on.
okay. It's okay to have someone come watch a baby for 6, 8 hours. It really should be the daddy, but like, let's focus on the community here. You can have somebody come in for 6, 8 hours at night while you sleep, rejuvenate. Then you got your baby all day. There's 24 hours in the day. I think
Literally.
8 hours a night is not going to hurt you. It's only for like the first 3 to 6 months. So it's not
Right.
like your baby's whole life.
And it's not like the baby's up, like, so what we doing? No, the baby is an infant, bro. The baby half sleep most of the time anyway. They just need a little something's bothering them or they need a little more food or whatever the case may be. Let people get the help that they can afford. That's
Right.
another thing. A lot of people like to point the finger about things. If you can't
Just,
afford that, you don't have an opinion on this. Let people get their nanny.
just go ahead and scroll, baby. This not
That's
your, this not your
this
line.
is not
It's
right.
not your line, and that's okay. But I hope that for more mothers that they can have the support that they need while they're pregnant and after they're pregnant.
Agreed. Agreed. Next on the healthy relationship wheel, again, ties into the last one, economic partnership.
You already know where I stand with this one.
Merva is very,
I'm like, we gotta. I'm not saying you gotta, be so above me or like, making so much money, but we gotta be somewhere in the same range. I think
yeah,
that would make the most balanced relationship. I think, especially if we're talking about like long term stuff, like being together, living together, and having kids. I would at that point, if we're just like dating, like okay, sure, whatever. But if we're talking about long term stuff, we gotta be like on the same page.
around the same, or at least on the same page about it. And you know what? I think one issue is even how you just said, if we're just dating, I mean, it is what it is. When you get to a certain age, like I'm starting to knock on 30, okay? When I,
Yeah,
30 is right around the corner. So the concession, my sentiment at 21 of like, oh, it doesn't matter like what he's doing. He has time to figure it out. At 28,
you should figure it out.
it is, and
Yeah,
I want people to stop shaming women for having that sentiment because
especially Black women.
Black women, it's
Oh
fair.
God.
It's fair to have that sentiment. Like, here's how I want to live. And if you don't want to live the same way,
Like,
otherwise you're going to be making compromises that you don't want to make for the rest of time.
and you're going to be resentful. That's going to be a resentful ass relationship. And now you're just in a relationship, doesn't say in your relationship. You're not even happy. You're not even. I think benefits should be. I said benefits. Relationships should be mutually beneficial. You should
Agreed.
be getting something. I should be getting something, and building
Agreed.
up or whatever the case may be. But yeah, I agree with you on that sentiment. At this age, I'm about to be a big 27 in a few months.
Like,
I didn't get my part. I didn't put in the work. I
that,
didn't grind it, and I would like someone that has the same mentality. But you know what?
exactly.
I can also see like, okay, like this person, maybe they don't have all the economics, but they have this bomb ass plan in place. Like they know exactly what's going to happen.
Yes.
They need like some extra support, or just need to talk to the right people. Okay, then
Hmm.
yeah, but then that also can't be prolonged. We're
Right.
not be 10 years and you still trying to connect. No.
Right. But you can kind of tell when that's somebody's vibe or not. Like if you ask somebody like, okay, so what's to you? Like, what have you been up to over the last X amount of years? Sometimes people are like, okay, well, I thought I wanted to do this. Then I
Yeah.
switched and it wasn't, and it was that. But then now I'm here and I really figured it out. And this is how, I'm going to do it. I can respect somebody who's been through things, if anything, that builds character.
Yeah.
I feel like, I mean, for the last 8 years, I've been trying to get my YouTube pop, like,
Check please. I'm ready to go. We're not about to do that.
yeah. So I feel like if I could give my earlier 20s self some advice, it would be just that. Like, give people grace, but not too much grace. Okay.
Not too much. That's the key right there. Not too much grace. Because one thing about people, you give them a centimeter, they're gonna run a marathon. Who wants
And
that?
an entire marathon. Okay.
Who wants that?
Exactly. Um, Tying into our next one, fairness.
Equality, equality,
That's
equality.
yeah, we've discussed that one. And then the
Woo.
last you said what?
I said, woo. But you know what? With the fairness thing, I think a lot of times when you come from certain cultures, like I do, that fairness thing does not exist. I had to talk to my parents about this. I was like,
What was the conversation?
we was talking about like, I sort of got my mom is she feels like she's gonna have a heart attack if I don't get married tomorrow. She was told me she wants grandkids. I was like, you have a kid under 10.
Yeah, you that's a great kid.
But we were talking about just like partners and stuff like that, what I would look for. Because I was thinking about, just I was talking about my career. I was talking about my career with them because that's
Yeah.
important to me.
Yeah.
And the mom just brings in the topic of marriage, and then we start talking, and she was like, in your household, my mom is like really problematic. Whatever. I talk about it all the time. My mom is super problematic. But she's like, in the household, like your husband is number one, then it's you, and you can't have, she basically said you can't have a husband that like does the housework. Like you ask him to. He should just want to do it himself if he wants to help you out. I was like, okay, so I'm not gonna do that. That's not in my no. I'm like, if I'm working, I was like, if I'm working, because I plan to have a really good career. If I'm working and I'm having kids and I come home and I have to cook and clean, what the fuck is there to love about this man? Because he's paying a mortgage, I can do that too. So
Yeah.
I still need some level of something. Like you gotta give something else besides like, even we just talked about financials, like really important, but like you gotta do more than just that
Yeah.
for us to
As
close life together.
as a like millennial woman with a good job, the whole concept of like, okay, I'm gonna just not pay nothing. He's just gonna pay for everything and I'll just exist. That's not as much a thing. And it's also like, what standard of living do you want? Do
That
you
part,
want the standard of living that he would have as a single man? Or do you want the standard of living that y'all would have if you put your assets together to some extent?
right.
I want the bigger. Okay. I want the more. I do go to work. Like, I don't need to put all my money away.
Like I want the nice house, the kids, and the family, shit like that. But I want a partner that's there to help me out with that shit.
Yes.
Or
Yes.
pay for someone or something. But you still have to be present. You can't just pay the mortgage and then put your feet up. No,
Right.
sir, you can't do that.
But
Mm-mm.
that was, I don't know, that was their time. Times are different now.
Yeah, and I be seeing people, the stay at home moms on TikTok. They be going through it.
Really? What do we like?
One girl, she had to sit outside, lock her kids in the house because she just couldn't take it. She said, "I just need a moment to breathe." She said the kids are always crying, they won't calm down. That's one life I do not want.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm gonna need the husband to step in and do something. But yeah, I can't stay at home with the kids all the time. Mm-mm.
If I'm a stay at home, no kids, I want to go to Target, get on the, like, I'm not,
I want to go to the gym. I want to go to meet my friends for lunch.
yes,
I don't
I'm
want to stay
good
home.
on the,
Take care of kids. What the hell?
yeah,
That's what my mom's for.
right, good on it. Okay, then the last thing we have on our healthy relationship wheel is non-threatening behavior.
Simply put.
That's and
Simply put.
have you been watching or keeping up with the Kanye West, Kim Kardashian stuff?
Yeah, I have been keeping up with it on Twitter.
Kanye is just really, I feel
He's a
like how we perceive threatening behavior is has definitely evolved over time,
yes.
because it used to just be like, did he knock her out? Okay, then it's fine. I think now we're starting to see it's not as black and white as that.
It could be more than that at times. And Kanye is the prime example, especially when Kim was like, let me just do this disclaimer. I am in no way a Kardashian fan or nothing like that. But as a person that really wants like the protection and the safety of women, I think
Yes.
we can't really avoid it just because we don't really like her. Like we still
Right.
want her to be safe at the end of the day. We
Safe.
don't want nothing to happen to her. And
Right.
we can't even say like granted, I don't think nothing's gonna happen because we really don't
We
know
don't
what
know.
Kanye be thinking. But like when she was like, why do you always post our private messages? I felt that. I'm like, why do we have to know? Like this isn't this something you guys take up with your lawyers? Like you live
Yeah.
street. I don't know if you go stand out in the middle of the street and yell, maybe she can hear you. Like even that's a little bit threatening. But stuff like that, all the things that he's doing and like attacking her new partner, like
Yeah, the whole I don't know whether this was true or not, but how he allegedly purchased a house across the street.
that's what the word on the street is.
And as much as like, oh yeah, you want to be near your children, No, that's not what that gave.
at all. But like, I don't understand the whole children thing. He be around his kids. He was just with North and Saint at the Super Bowl. So what are
Yeah.
you talking about? Kim be trying to stop him from seeing his kid. That's a baby daddy favorite line right there.
Yeah, you try,
See my kids.
and I think we also ought to acknowledge the mental health overlay to
Yeah,
the extent she is like, I don't know if you should see the kids while you're in this state. That's kind of fair. Like,
that's very fair. But he's a Gemini. Gemini's can be. I'm a Gemini too, but like Gemini men are like selfish on another level.
let me see. Have I had a Gemini? Oh yeah, you know what?
Yeah. Trump is a
That
Gemini too.
Trump.
Yeah.
Mm. All
Um,
right.
but yeah, non-threatening behavior. I had a point to say on this, but I totally forgot what it was.
Was it in the realm? It was in the relationship context. I'm guessing, of course.
Yeah, about people like I don't know what the hell it was, but if it come back to me, I'm gonna circle back. But
Okay.
non
So
behavior. Maybe we
okay,
can do an episode on that.
threatening. What threatening behavior is like the sort
What
of
you should
signs.
what some red flags are, because a lot of us we kind of overlook some things like, oh, he wouldn't do that when he did whatever. I feel like when you start raising your voice at people,
Okay, I
we're
think that
steering.
that is so important because some stuff is so inherently like obviously a red flag, okay? Some
Mhm.
stuff though is like a muted pink. Like,
Yeah, it's like
if
a yeah,
that escalates, then it'll get a little more red and a little more red.
right.
So sometimes people be like, "Oh, my dude did X, Y, and Z." I'll be like, "Okay, well, my ex did something that's way more extreme, but that was how it started."
Yep.
Like in
It's
the
about the
beginning, it looked
small
like that. Mhm.
small stuff. I always say that if a dude ever put his hands on me, he better kill me the first time. Because if you do not kill me, I will kill you. Because why the fuck would you put your hands on me? I don't ever think about putting my hands on nobody. And I always say it too, even though I have my little situations or whatever, but like generally I don't believe in fighting either. Because what do we solve when we fight?
I mean, you don't.
You still don't like me. We still got beef. Somebody's gonna get hurt, and I have a 50% chance of getting hurt.
Yeah,
I don't know. The odds aren't that great. So
the
yeah,
odds are not, but you
that's
would
into a relationship. If you hear me, you better kill me the first time. That's it. That's all I gotta say.
you heard it here first. This gonna be in court. They're gonna be like, Exhibit A, Merv in 2022 said when
And
you on trial.
it's really often to haunt your ass for the rest of your motherfucking life.
Okay, so that's Exhibit B.
If
Okay, you heard it here first. Okay, so now let's talk a little bit about what love looks like for love of self.
um,
Because as much as I feel like self-love has become a little bit of a gimmick.
yeah, misconstrued too.
Yeah, so we have a list of some things that are comparing what healthy self-love looks like versus narcissism because honestly, a lot of people be, straddling the line. You want to
Yeah,
take the first one or me?
yeah, for the healthy or unhealthy.
Either.
So unhealthy. I'm sorry. Unhealthy is grandiose self idealization. I think Kanye fits into this one.
Yes.
Granted,
Like,
he is really good at what he does. Like even the genius label, whatever, do your thing in your line of work, maybe so. But like he has a very large sense of self identification, and which
mhm.
can be done in a healthy way. A lot of people talk about how people talk about like being a main character in someone's life. Like,
Yes.
the main character in your life, like this is your,
Everyone ought to
you
feel
know,
like the main character in their own world.
but when you're doing too much and when you need to pull back. It's very evident. You can have self love without this big, showcase of like you and whatever it is that you do. And Kanye is a big example, and so is Trump. I talk about those two frequently because maybe it's
But
just
they're
Gemini.
good examples.
Those are very big examples of having a very grand self idealization. Especially
Yeah.
Trump. He's not smart at all. I don't well, we know why he made it into the White House.
Yeah.
Racism, white supremacy, white privilege, all that good
Yeah.
stuff. but he's not a very smart person. And if you see his track record in business, you would know that he's not a very smart person. But
Right.
for whatever reason, because he has like this grandiose personality, people tend to kind of overlook that a little bit,
Right.
or I don't know, maybe some people want to identify with that level of confidence, so they kind of buy into whatever it is he's selling. So
It's true. It's true. They say that so on our list, the healthy version of that unhealthy Trumpish, Kanye-ish thing is realistic expectations towards oneself and others. Realistic, I feel
it's
like, is the key there, because I feel like it's a mix of people just wanting to gas themselves, wanting to feel good about themselves. Also, a generation of parents coddling their kids to make them believe that they are the best thing that has ever happened
Mhm.
to
Especially male
humanity.
children. We have to make that
Ma-
distinction. Male children.
Male children too, but some moms be,
Yeah.
no, they're just jealous of you. And don't get me wrong, baby T used to know
Ah,
there's some jealousy, but you know what though?
I'm screaming.
She was a super duper realistic type mom.
Yeah.
So when I grew up, I'd be like, dang, she low key was a little right.
Yeah.
But was it always that? No.
Probably
Like,
not.
was it you're the best thing? It was like you decent or whatever. Like, it depends. It just depends on the
Yeah.
person. But I think that realistic is what a lot of people lack.
Absolutely.
Okay, so the next one, you want to just keep unhealthy, and I'll do healthy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Low self esteem, man. That's pretty boom.
The healthy version is self-esteem based on love, compassion, and understanding. I feel like I don't even know if I agree with
With the
this
low self
being,
esteem.
yeah, with this being on the list. Like, okay, I understand that low self-esteem is unhealthy, but that's not something that is necessarily brought on because of the individual themselves.
That is true. But you know what? It can be, especially when you live in a state of comparison. That's brought on
Okay,
to
now that's a good point. Yeah, if you're always comparing,
but I see where you're coming from, where you just can't help it. You might
you
just have
have yeah, yeah.
to. Yeah.
Regardless, it's unhealthy, but it's like, to what extent did you bring it on yourself? And
Right.
you're right. A lot of people do look at her. She has this, and I don't have that. So let me. But they just need to form a more healthy relationship, like they say, based on love, compassion, and understanding,
Yeah.
not just based on you got this. I don't. I want it.
Right. We just, I don't know, not to say like we all have the same 24 hours in a day. We don't. But like figure out ways that you can work for whatever your goal is with the
Yes.
resources that you currently have. And hopefully along the way you can build more resources to live the life that you want to live. But it really just starts with working with what you got
Right.
and building from there.
Right. Oh my gosh. And to bring back the word realistic, like, knowing your strengths, okay,
Yeah.
what makes sense for you versus what makes sense for the next person. I was talking to one of my friends about this, like, I don't know, yesterday or one of the other days. Say, for example, you want to be a influencer, okay?
Yeah.
Some of those influencers have really big personalities and they're this, that, and the other. If you don't have that kind of personality, that's fine. But you don't have to pretend that you do. You
Yeah.
know?
And people can like see through that sometimes
It's
too.
so obvious. So it's just like, just be you, be the person that you are. And if you're that quiet person, you trying to pretend like you have this big personality is gonna make you have low self-esteem, because you're gonna be like, I'm not doing as good as this other person who's naturally like that. Just like, lean into who you really are.
Yeah, and and I've said this before. I said this on my Finsta one time. How someone told me that like my trajectory in life was so easy. I'm like, if you want what I have, you have to deal with all the bullshit that I dealt with too. If you want to deal with that shit, which I probably will never talk about, go ahead, be my guest. But you really can't just be like, oh, I want that person's life. You get the fuck in their life. It's some bullshit going on. You're like, what the hell did I ask? No, you gotta be careful
Yes,
what you ask for because people really be going through some shit, and especially with social media, you only see the highlights. People
exactly.
are rarely. Some people do, get transparent, but like no one's ever posting all the bad shit that happens in their life to get to where they're at. No one
That is
posts.
so true.
I don't
That's
want
so
no part
true.
of that. I already doing my shit, and that's quite enough.
Exactly. That is so true. You are 100% correct. People see what you do on social media and it's like, okay, that looks easy, or I want that. My favorite one is, I could have did that, but I opted not to because, and they don't know the half. Don't know the half.
like half of the shit that you be going through.
It's really crazy. But if you're grounded in, what you actually want and your true interests and values and contributions to the world or whatever, you won't be
Yeah.
that person talking about coulda, shoulda, and woulda. Okay, do it
Yeah.
then tomorrow.
Clear. I at one point in time I used to have a low self-esteem too, and I really had to like reel that shit in because I was like,
Yeah.
"What the fuck you doing?"
Yeah. I think, and we all have low moments too.
Yeah,
Like you could have the most self esteem and then you have a day where somebody talks to you the wrong way or you don't get to job or you get
right.
broken up with or whatever the case may be. Like it
That takes
always.
it. That's money. That job should be hard when you get that rejection email. Like,
Oh my
damn,
God. I know. Like,
you be like, damn, shit.
well, we could have been so great together.
You was calculating your paycheck, your commute, what you was
Right. Oh, bro, now that's the worst. When you put it in the map, like, oh, it's only gonna take me X amount of
yeah,
minutes to get to work.
close, girl. I be hating losing the jobs that's close.
Ooh, ooh, okay. So yeah,
Um, the next one is exaggerated sense of entitlement.
we already talked about that one.
Yeah, I think that kind of
Kanye, Trump, boom. Yeah, we can go to the next one.
assuming that others are responsible for our actions and their consequences.
And then the healthy version is taking responsibility for one's actions and their consequences. Accountability is something that like a lot of adults actually don't have.
None at all.
Like,
Zero.
ooh, nobody. But I feel like that is.
I wonder where that stems from. I guess people just don't want to be wrong. Maybe everyone's just stubborn.
I think either everyone's stubborn or like I think that being wrong is also portrayed in such a negative light in society. Me and my partner, we're just talking about this the other day. Like in the parenting context, like if you teach your kids that it's okay to be wrong, they won't grow up and be that annoying person who's still trying to support Trump
Yeah,
on Facebook after we've seen that he's terrible.
the devil's advocate crew.
Exactly. Like, just it's okay to be like, okay, well, I used to think like this, but now I have some new information. So now I think like
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
If people would just normalize that, I think that there would be so much more accountability.
I agree.
But that
Yeah.
takes someone emotionally more mature than I think the average person.
A lot of us don't have any emotional intelligence.
It's very
We
true.
have to like do the work to figure out. First of all, a lot of us don't even know what the hell that means.
Right.
Number one,
And it
we
means different things for different people.
exactly. We didn't grow up in those type of households, or like you didn't really grow up hearing that type of stuff. So it's like, especially when you have to relearn stuff as an adult, we're at the point like where our minds pretty much set. Like, this is it.
Yeah.
Like we're not like kids that like absorb everything and can transform and this and the third. We're at a point in life where we're kind of like this. Our brains are done developing. At least for women, it's done developing. So it's like
How your logical reasoning at that point is like, this is how I get to my answers.
exactly. So you have to be really, really like intentional about like approaching these things and really being open to these type of conversations. A lot of us are wrong
It's true.
multiple times a day, multiple times a week. That's just a part of human nature that happens to everyone. No one's right all the time. If
Absolutely
you
no.
was right all the time, girl, you would be an angel. You would not be here down here with us.
Yeah,
So
literally human nature. But people, I don't know, people need to also listen more
that too.
because like, okay, somebody has a different opinion than you. Instead of listening to understand what their opinion is based in, you're
Yeah.
listening to but like,
Right.
okay, bro.
Like you're ready to just
Yeah, could I get the sentence out?
yeah.
But human nature. Okay, next one.
Controlling
Oh,
others due to insecurity. Woo.
and
That's a
then
huge red flag.
the healthy version is feeling secure enough to respect people's boundaries.
Yes. Also listen to, or you can watch it on YouTube. Listen to our boundaries episode. That was the second episode we ever did. Or was that the first episode? It was the first.
We had a bunch of little didn't work, so it's one of the early episodes.
Yeah, go listen to that. But this whole boundaries thing, why are people so combative when it comes to boundaries? Okay, I know why, because they don't have any, so they don't want you to have any either. So there
Yeah,
we go. Even though I feel like some people do be having their own boundaries, but they don't want other people to have boundaries because they
the
want to
thing.
treat people however they want to treat them.
Bro, people benefit from others' lack of boundaries.
Yeah.
So if you're like, I'm not gonna do that, and they're like, dang, if she don't do that, then that's gonna make my life a little bit more difficult.
Right.
So then they'll be like, no, but you should do that. It's wrong of you to not do that because humans are inherently selfish.
As hell.
So I think that that's why people have problems with others' boundaries.
Yeah. People just want to take advantage of one another. And honestly, that can get tiring. Who gives a damn?
Yeah. So set your boundaries this year. But okay, the on the concept of controlling others due to insecurity, that I'm thinking of like past like me in past relationships.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was given some of that at times. Like, and no one thinks of, okay, like trying to set rules, or sometimes rules or boundaries
Yeah.
are based in, I'm not sure if you're for me, I'm not sure if you're trustworthy, so I'm gonna tell you, here's what you can and can't do and why you didn't do, like, I think that the relationship I'm in now is the most healthy I've had, because okay, go be free.
Yeah.
And if your definition of freedom is something that would disrespect me, then we're not meant to be together.
Exactly.
Like
That's just
leaving
what
it.
it comes down to.
Yeah.
And also, I think with boundaries, see, this is the thing about me. I be losing my motherfucking thought.
Have you felt like you have been the like controlling of others type in relationships?
Absolutely not.
You just let people just do what you wish.
Because I feel like if we, I feel like relationships shouldn't be hard.
Right.
Obviously there's hard moments, but it shouldn't be hard. So who am I to come into your life? I'm new in your life. I don't
Right.
know what the hell you had going on before. Who am
Right.
I to come in and be like, oh, you can't do this, you can't do that? But if we have understanding that we want to be together, and you do what you do, and you know that you want to be with me, you wouldn't disrespect me like you just said.
I
So
think it's a
why would I? What is the hold up there? That's how I think about it. It might be very naive because people are very conniving, but that's just the way I choose to go about life. I'm not finna strap you down next to me. I'm not
right.
finna, trying to follow you and shit like that. I'm
Okay.
not gonna do any of that because at that, if I feel like I have to do that, we don't need to be together because I
Right.
don't trust you. And if we ain't got trust, we got nothing.
I just looked crazy when you said follow, but then I was like, oh wait, I've been followed before.
Right. So and that shit feel weird as fuck. Like, why would
It's
you
like,
follow
whoa, what are you doing here right
right?
now?
You
But
supposed to be in relationship, know each other, like
I
wow.
think I think that there's a thin line though between teaching somebody how to respect you
Hmm.
and controlling them.
Yeah, super.
Because sometimes people do things and it's like, yeah, that's out of like, I don't really like when people do that. And if
Yeah,
the other person is like, oh, okay, like I didn't know, or let's have a conversation about it, versus they keep on doing it and it's like, could you please stop doing that? At that point, it's like, really, at that point, it's like, we're not meant to be, because, but if you want to make it work, then you keep on drilling down on this
right.
thing, but they can't do it. So just let them go. Like,
Yeah, and you know what? This was my thought from earlier. When people set boundaries, I feel like the person who's the boundary is being set to, they kind of feel like this is the end of the relationship. No,
yeah.
we just have to figure out how to, maneuver,
Yeah.
work, how we're, doing things. And I think it's okay. It's totally okay. Doesn't have to be the end of things. And the people that rush it just being the end of things, they kind of scare me too. Because like you run away from everything. So I just know you wouldn't be a
Yeah.
good person to be friends, partners, anything with. So
Yeah. I agree. I think relationships, like we've talked about several times before, are oftentimes framed like Disney movies, romantic, everything needs to be perfect. It's not going to be perfect. So if somebody sets a boundary, or if they, oh, I don't like that, or this made me feel uncomfortable, that's not steps backwards. That's really steps forward. Like, okay, we're building a world for us together. Now
yes.
we have to, tweak it to our standard, and it gets better over time when you have, more
Yeah,
understanding.
it's more of like I really want you to stay in my life, but we just gotta figure out how
Right. But you
to
can't stay if
you doing too much
exactly.
all the
Okay. Right.
time.
Right.
Every now and again, okay, we can
Right.
really hack it. But if you're a constant do too much, you gotta go.
Then it's not gonna work. Okay.
Yeah.
Um, so the next one,
Self criticism and punishment for the unhealthy side.
And then self acceptance is the healthy. There's one before too about failures. We can go to that after.
Oh, okay.
So self criticism and punishment. I think it's so easy to do that in the social media era.
Yeah.
Like, oh, they have this and I want that and I don't have it yet. So why
I'm not
don't I have it
even
yet?
21. Oops.
Literally, literally.
And also, I think it's just easier too. It's easier to talk down on yourself. Oh, you're so fucking stupid. Why the fuck did you do that? Or like when something happened and you know you should have, done better or had more discernment. It's so easy to just dunk on yourself. It's really, really easy. It's really easy to be negative.
It's
But to
true.
really pour into yourself, you know what? That was a mistake. How can we do better? That takes a lot more work than just
Yeah.
you stupid.
Yeah. It's true. More productive self talk, like self criticism.
Yeah.
But also, one of my friends had just suggested that people should start having like a salary cap in their mind. Like, I really want to get to this. And when I get there, I'm happy, I'm comfortable, I'm good. Because we're in such an era of like, okay, more. Okay,
Yeah.
do more. Now
Right.
I need a little bit more.
Right.
We need to start. And I saw another post, and I'll probably like put it in a social media post on this.
Yeah.
It was just saying, like, let's get more comfortable just existing.
Just being.
Yeah, just be like, you work hard and then just let yourself enjoy that. It doesn't always have to be like, okay, I'm here now. So how can I do the next better thing? Like, just
Right.
be.
Live in the moment. Live in
A
the
lot of,
present. You
a
only
lot
get
of,
it one time.
yeah, a lot of people don't just be being.
Yeah. Speaking on that salary cap thing, there was the post on Twitter where this guy was like, I think he worked in tech. He was saying that like at the salary he was at, or like I think it was 150,000. He's like, I can do a lot. I can
What
do
he wants to do.
I can do everything that I want to do. And then here come the Twitter investment bankers and the Twitter
Orange
millionaires saying
fruits.
150 isn't it's nothing.
To who?
99% of the people in America don't make that. So
Literally.
it's gotta be something. So I
Yeah.
hate when people get to salary capping on the internet, because you could do a lot. You really could do a lot with less with proper planning. Obviously, nothing is gonna ever like take someone out of poverty like more money, but that's not the
Right.
conversation at hand. It's like at 150, a lot of us could do a lot of stuff if you live within your.
Your means, bro.
No one's
Yes.
saying at 150 you finna be Gucci this, Gucci that, Gucci everything. You're not about to do that.
Yeah.
It's just not feasible
Yeah.
as a lifestyle. You're not about to be living like the rappers and stuff like that, but you can live a very good life where you can have a good home. You could probably also have a family on that type of salary too. People do it
Undoubtedly.
less, so you definitely can do it at that salary. You can travel. You can, like he said, he can do everything that he wants. It just
Yes.
takes planning and budgeting.
Yes. So at that point, that's him being realistic with himself.
Yeah,
Anything beyond that is fluff. Okay.
exactly.
Like, I'm fine. And let him find a partner with 152. Now y'all are at 300. Okay.
That's a
You're
lot more than
fine.
a majority. When people, the median salary in America is 49K.
Right. Like, let's be real here. Talking about 150. That's not.
That's I don't know. You give me $1, shit. Everything is money to me. I would take anything. If someone gave
Yeah.
me 50, I'm taking it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like I don't understand the logic, but everybody wants to seem richer than they are, but the stats say different.
It's true. It's very true. With 150,
So,
that person could be Gucci down. People be Gucci
you
down at
could.
32. Okay.
You're absolutely right.
Let's be real.
You're absolutely right.
Okay, so we also have, and we're getting to an hour, so we could just do a
Yeah.
little
Um
skim through these. We have some like qualities of healthy friendship, unhealthy friendship, healthy. We've kind of discussed love like as an overarching topic. So let's look at the healthy friendship or family. Is there any one or two that you feel like are very important or stick out to you?
um
We have on here like equality, respect, trust, encourage a healthier you, honor your additional relationships, mutual feelings. So mine will be mutual feelings. I think that that's so important, especially as an adult.
yeah.
If you're going to have a friendship with someone, Like, nobody wants a one-sided nothing these
Exactly.
days. Okay?
Exactly.
So the unhealthy version of it, they say, is unrequited love. I think in the friendship context, unrequited love, unrequited effort.
Yeah.
Like, nobody wants to be reaching out, trying to hang. Like, okay, so you don't want to be friends. So then let's not be friends then.
Yeah. Let's just demote ourselves. That's okay.
Yeah, and that's
I do,
fine.
I do think with the unrequited love, if you have a crush on your friends, I don't know. That's something completely different. That's
Oh yeah, the list, the list we're looking at talking about one friend has a crush on
it's
the other.
mostly a friendship now. You try
Okay, bro.
more than that, but
Yeah, that's different. But if it's a strictly platonic relationship, I think that it's definitely fair to want mutual effort to
yeah,
some extent. I mean, we're grown. Everybody has jobs and they have other things in their life, but
yeah.
you
I
can
think
tell.
I think for me that encourage a healthier you is
Mm,
really important. I want people around me that's gonna help me kind of. You don't have to like directly teach me, but like the way you move is like, ooh, you know what? I like how they did that. Maybe I can tweak how I handle these type of situations or how I, do this, that, and the third.
mhm,
So having someone there, you can kind of see like, okay, they doing that, and it's working really well for them. Let me try to implement that and see how that could be for my life. Or I just really like how they're moving in a positive manner, whatever the case may be. I love stuff like that. Like I
I
say all the
think
time, I used to be a very combative person, like super, super combative. I can still be combative at times, but like it was actually kind of ridiculous. I kind of look back, I was like, that's so cringe, and I've changed over time.
yeah,
I learned like you can't just say what you want to say and then that's just be it. You have to realize like, damn, I was fucking wrong, and I need
right,
to.
right.
So
I
stuff.
I agree so much about having people around you that encourage a healthier you. Like,
Yeah,
we're at the age, and don't get me wrong, I could have been 23 and I could have, started to implement this then, but I feel like for me in my life in particular, I'm at the age where less is more with
yeah,
regard to like people in my life, like, extra stuff. I'm not too interested in
yeah.
drama. I'm not too interested in
None of that stuff.
fixer up, like, and this might come off rude, but like, it's fine to want friends that you look up to or that you can share ideas with and things like that, as opposed to friends who you're trying to do like the fixer upper vibe on.
Mm,
It's okay. Like, and I think sometimes it's sort of discouraged. Like, say you're a professional woman and people are like, no, you shouldn't treat people different, or you should have friends of all, genres and walks of life, which is true, but you can tell when somebody is motivated and when they're not. It's
yeah,
okay for you to want motivated friends. It's okay for you to want friends who work hard too.
yeah,
That's fine. Like,
yeah,
that's your choice.
yeah. And then this, my guy Aristotle. This is where he comes in. That the levels of friendships. Everybody ain't got to be what is it, type C. That's the best one. Yeah,
Yeah.
everybody ain't got to be type C, and stuff like that. You can have friends at different levels, and I do think like I just really recently opened my eyes to this. Like maybe someone's lifestyle might not be what you would see for yourself, but if they're a
Hmm.
good friend to you, that's okay. They might not be a C, maybe they're a B or A, and that's okay.
Right.
Okay, that can be
Right.
a thing. Two things can be true at the same time.
Exactly. Exactly. That's very accurate. Everyone doesn't have to be on the same wavelength, but to the extent somebody not being on the same wavelength as you impacts how they're a friend to you or how they can show up to you or how you feel like
Yeah,
they show up for themselves, it's okay for you to be cognizant of that
yeah,
and acknowledge it and be honest with yourself about it.
absolutely.
And
Um,
on that note,
so that wraps up today's episode of the Love Episode Part 2. Healthy versus
healthy
unhealthy love.
love. So tell us what you guys think is healthy love. Maybe we'll do a poll.
Yeah.
Like, how do you define healthy love? Because I would be curious to know.
Yeah. Or even like when did you start realizing the loves that you were in were not healthy? Like
Oh, now
when did that mind shift happen?
that's a good question. How many years were you stupid? No, I'm just kidding.
Okay. You know what? I gave myself till 25 to like do foolish things.
Yeah. I mean, even after that,
I, I still do a little bit, but like for the most part, I'm kind of like, okay, I need to do better. I recognize better a lot more than it before.